Today, we are joined by Kimmi, a volunteer with Rescue Revival, which is an organization that works directly with organizations to build awareness and advocacy campaigns to revitalize and redefine the rescue community. So, Kimmi, to get us started, can you tell us a little bit more about Rescue Revival's mission and what needs they're filling in the community?
Yeah, absolutely. I started Rescue Revival because there are so many rescues all over doing the physical rescuing of dogs, and it's still never enough, right? And they're also
Hmm.
just so burnt out. So I started it to make sure that there was someone doing advocating for them and for what they're doing and connecting them together. I started, honestly, the first campaign we did was for an organization that I rescued my dog from, and we rescued her from Turkey just to kind of
Oh,
like get
wow.
things going. Yeah, it's a really cool organization. And it really, as we went into different campaigns, it really developed. And our big thing is we focus on prevention and retention, right? So making sure that there are less stray dogs in the community by hopefully implementing more spay-neuter access to even people with companion animals, not just rescue dogs. And then
Okay.
retention training programs that will help keep dogs in homes and address those training issues even before they're adopted.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's great. Wish I could do so much more in so less time, but it's been really, really fun. And I feel great about what we're trying to build here.
Well, I kind of want to also hear more about you and get to know you a little bit better. So, can you share an early memory that you have with animals or a specific animal that you are really close to, or really what got you so passionate about this work?
So my first dog growing up, always had dogs, but one of them, she was a golden, her name was Sandy, and I just loved her. And then we always had different dogs and stuff, but then when I turned like 8, I believe we got a little Bichon named Mickey. And I think maybe we had a couple rescues, but it was never it wasn't just a well-known thing. And when I was a freshman in high school, Mickey passed away. There was an accident and he got hit by a car,
Mm.
and I completely detached from dogs. Like I could not do, even in college, my roommates got a dog, and I'm like, I cannot get attached to this dog. And then years and later, I moved to Pittsburgh, and my boyfriend, now husband, his family had a dog named Lacey, and I just grew really close to her. So I wanted to make sure, like, I wanted another dog. So we got our first golden Archie, and we got him from a breeder because my husband was attacked by a husky rescue dog. Just like I wasn't educated, right? It had nothing to do it wasn't the dog's fault. It was that she had gotten fixed. There was just something else going on. So right after we got Archie, I just started to learn more about the rescue world, and we started fostering. And my eyes were open to it. And really the big thing was we had a foster dog. His name was Thor. He is a Great Pyrenees. He's amazing. But he would be like spontaneously human aggressive. Like he would want to go up to a person and then kind of snap. And because
Yeah.
he's so big, I was like, if this dog does not get training, he's going to bite someone and be put down.
Right.
So I reached out to the trainer that we were working with at the time up in Pittsburgh. And long story short, up there, we kind of started an organization that funded free training for rescue dogs. And when I moved here, obviously they're doing that in Pittsburgh. So I started Rescue Revival, but it was just like interesting how all those life scenarios kind of built into it. Really does feel like, for me, it's like do or die. We gotta
Yeah.
help this out. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious. I want to hear more about how you started Rescue Revival. You've said little things about it, but I'd love to hear that story.
So right after I moved down here, I had to pass on the organization that I started up in Pittsburgh, and I was just really craving. I need to figure out how to give back to the community, and for me, it wasn't going to be enough to foster. I wasn't going to be able to. We were living in a really small apartment, right? And
Okay.
I knew there were just like more innovative ways, and we have 3 dogs. Um, there were more innovative ways to do it, and there was just so much not being done because they're so overwhelmed. So I was like, if I start another rescue and just start bringing dogs in, it's just going to create more stress for me without the lasting impact that I want. And
Sure.
it's not to minimize, of course, like what rescues are doing. It's that like I want to help them. I want to be a resource and go into a rescue and say, hey, like, we have this idea. Here's what we want to fund. The best was when we launched a campaign in Oxford, Mississippi. And I said, like, if you could wave a magic wand and have anything you want, what would it be? And it was UVC lighting. to reduce the spread of disease so they wouldn't have to do like mass euthanizations of cats if there was a disease that kept spreading. And so we met that goal. So it was like, what are you guys missing that will help your work in the long run?
Yeah. Is there something in particular that you find most rescues are in need of? Or does it just kind of vary from rescue to rescue?
Yeah, it sometimes it varies. The common themes are, I always say it's not sexy, but spay neuter. But it's not even just for the rescues, it's for animal welfare. So it's not that I don't want to just fund, the surgeries that rescue's already doing. I want to be able to create a whole new initiative that will help even companion animals get access to spay neuter, because that's the big thing. It's cost and access. So, what are other states doing on a legislative level to make sure that these pets get this care? Because if you think about it, it is a systemic problem in society that
Mhm.
nonprofits just have to fix because they feel called to do
Yeah.
it. And if we
Right.
weren't
Right.
doing it, there would be it would there would be stray dogs everywhere, right? And it would be a whole different kind of culture. That is a big one. And then what I'm really passionate about is the rescue workers do so much to get these dogs adopted, to place them. It's all these beautiful stories. And if they get returned for some sort of behavioral issue, I know we can address that, whether it be we teach them certain skills before they're even able to get adopted, or once they're placed, we offer trainings that they stay in those homes because they do all that work just to have to do it again. I don't want rescue workers to have to do that. I want them to keep those happy endings.
Totally, totally. That's incredible. That's not easy, I'm sure, but it
We're
does have a really
trying.
big yes, it has a
Yeah.
big impact. Can you walk us through what a typical day that may not exist, but
Yeah.
in general, what a typical day with Rescue Revival looks like?
Yeah. So I do work a full-time job. I always say my paying job. And so a lot of times, no joke, 4 a.m. to like 6 a.m. is my sweet spot to do even just working through partnerships and seeing like who can we reach out to.
Mhm.
And then in the evening I'll take meetings. So I just started building a board. So this week I've had board meetings with people, and what they'll do is they'll pick a specific like pillar of rescue revival and they'll attach themselves to it. So whether it's advocacy or community. So meeting with them if that's the case. Sometimes we have pack leaders that we call them pack leaders of the month. I'll go meet that dog. I'll take pictures with them. I'll do videos and fun stuff like that. And we did and have done a lot of just like tabling at events, right? Just to get
Okay.
the awareness out there. So in a couple weeks, we have like the Great Golden Gathering, and we're going to go there for our Gold for Good campaign.
Mhm.
But it's a lot of talking.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
A voice for the voiceless, like that
Yes.
is quite it. And some people would
Yes.
say, at least she's not talking to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, just like taking care of my dogs, obviously, and doing silly videos with them for no real reason.
So
That's somehow
sweet.
part of the job.
Totally. Well, you mentioned a couple of campaigns, Gold for
Mhm.
Good. You mentioned the Pack Leader of the Month. And I was wondering if you could share a little bit more about those campaigns and any
Yeah.
other ones that you would like to talk about.
Absolutely. So Gold for Good, I started because I just needed to do something. So I was like, let me just see. So it started by trying to fund the transport of dogs from over in Turkey for International Dog Day. That's what it was around. And it's really just evolved. And we actually redefined the goals for this coming year for it yesterday. So Gold for Good will be framed to get 10 rescue golden retrievers training, right? Because a lot of times, golden retrievers specifically are returned or surrendered, even though they're brought from a breeder, because it's not good with kids, or it's chewing, or they just don't have the time because they didn't know about how much energy they would have. So we really want to be able to offer up that training. And our partners for that one is Adopt a Golden and Tattered Paws Golden Hearts. So if they bring a dog over, we can do that training. But like, for example, Adopt a Golden won't even adopt out right now to anyone who doesn't have a fenced in yard because they've had so many issues in the past of like, what if that dog runs away and stuff? So we want to be able to equip adopters with that peace of mind and build that relationship with their dog. So that's where Gold for Good is going. And this year, we're going to work to hopefully outfit a bus for the rural shelters and some of the rural areas for the residents. So outfit a bus to transport them down to like Mississippi State or a clinic that will do spay and neuter, and then they'll be able to have that access for free or very like, extremely discounted. That's what we're aiming to do this year. And we're expanding out to Mississippi State, so a little bit of a competition if anyone's an SEC person, like that is going to
Hmm.
be
I'm aware. There was one thing that I wanted to ask you about. You have mentioned a couple of times bringing dogs over from Turkey, and I would love to hear more about that. Like, why Turkey? And are dogs coming over from all over the world? And coincidentally, the examples that you've given have been Turkey, or is there
Yeah.
something else there?
Yeah, there are rescues that rescue internationally. Of course, China or Korea or anywhere where there might be a dog meat trade, there are some that will do that. I didn't know about Turkey either until someone sent me an Instagram post that they had all these dogs that need to be adopted. And over there in Turkey, yes, like we do have a ton of stray animals here as well, for sure. Absolutely. But it's really bad over there because they explain it as having a dog in Turkey is similar to having like a designer bag here, like it's a status thing. But then when you have to start taking care of that dog, or if it's barking a lot, it's very easy for that neighbor to call and get that dog taken away. And then it goes to a shelter. The shelters don't have to keep it for very long before they euthanize it. They used to do like a catch and release spay-neuter program out there, but then there would be dogs that were like half, like still out there with cones and like kind of still injured. And it was just kind of messed. So they even stopped doing that. And they're just people they're just breeding at an insane amount. So they come over the process is wild, right? Working with the
Mhm.
CDC. I mean, my dog literally has a legitimate passport
Oh my
that I
gosh,
framed. Yeah,
that's
and
so fun.
like legitimate passport.
Oh my
And
goodness.
having to work with like the changes in the CDC or making sure every dog has a flight volunteer, but that organization, Tatterpaws, works with an organization in Turkey and they adopt out to other countries too. So it's an incredible, it's a huge garden where they bring all these stray animals in, take care of them until they can find an adopter, and it's endless. It's wild, wild.
Wow. That's that's really cool. I love that
Yeah,
something like that exists.
I know. And again, when people are like, "I want a golden," and I'm like, I will never judge anyone for going to a breeder as long as they like do their research. And I think breeders have a place. I don't think that they're the only issue with everything that's going on. But sometimes I'm just like, you talk about how great my dog is. She was a rescue. Two of our Goldens are rescues. So it's like, you can do it, you know?
Yeah, totally. I also wanted to mention kind of bringing it back. You mentioned your pack leader of the month. And who is your pack leader of the month this month? Can you tell us a little bit about them?
I feel like it's sounding very golden retriever heavy, but because the Adopt a Golden Gathering is next weekend, we're doing his name is Maverick. They call them orphans. He's a very typical golden retriever, high energy, excited, like he's so cute, like perfect little guy. So what we'll do is with pack leaders, typically we'll sponsor their adoption fee. So February was Nashville Humane, and we did this adorable mix. Her name was Maple. And then last month we worked with an organization called the KG Foundation, and there was a dog named who's like a bulldog mix of a pit mix of sort. His name was Muffin Man.
Oh
And
my gosh.
yeah, his story was actually featured on the Dodo, which is that social media, that Instagram page where they do all these really cute stories. We sponsored his adoptions. We paid their adoption fee. So whether like maybe the rescue might still collect that adoption fee, but it's like we're still able to give back. So that's really fun. But with Maverick, we're going to sponsor training. And it's just whatever
Awesome.
that rescue needs, right? Like they're like, well, we
Yeah.
kind of don't want to take away an adoption fee because we want to make sure the person is serious about it. Like, perfect.
Mhm.
So let's do training because he is high
Yeah.
energy. We want to make sure we find the right adopter.
Yeah. Goldens do have a lot of energy. They are
I
so
know. And
sweet.
you wouldn't know with mine, to be quite honest with you, but yeah, they do. Typically they do.
Well, you told us earlier what inspired you to start this work. And I'm wondering if you can now tell us about a time when volunteering really impacted you as a person, whether that was with Rescue Revival or something else.
Thor, that story is definitely one of them. Another story, again, fostering. I would go into shelters a lot too. Like I would volunteer at shelters and also farm animal sanctuary. That was one of the most eye-opening experiences ever. I didn't know anything about, auctions and things like that for farm animals, but the
Mhm.
shelter I was volunteering at the time, they opened a farm sanctuary. And so I learned about they would go to these livestock auctions and save these animals like that are in terrible, terrible shape. But a big thing was I started volunteering with the cows, and
Mhm.
cows are just big dogs. Like, it is wild. You play fetch with them. It was the most beautiful. They are one day I will start rodeo revival. I just want to throw that out there. I haven't eaten meat forever, not just because of that, but like,
Sure.
but I did get to a point where I was like to my husband, you can't make beef in the house. Like, it's like, I was so brought into that. It was like crazy. It was wild. It was really, so that really, really impacted me, but it just opened my eyes to, we're not programmed to think about like the emotional intelligence and the feelings that even farm animals may have. So that was huge for me. Very
Totally.
big one. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I have never really had much knowledge about cows, but my husband is from India, and so whenever we go there, there are just cows everywhere in the roads. There was a cow, like wild cow at our wedding, and it's just they're so calm, and it is so amazing to me how they move through that country with all of the chaos.
Yep.
It's like they're unbothered.
They are. And because they're
It's so
respected too, right? Like that's a big part
yes.
of it too, which is beautiful. But even Christmas Eve, we went to go like pet Highland cows. Like that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to be around them.
Okay, well, before I let you go, this has been so amazing. I've loved talking to you, and I just wanted to ask you how listeners can best support Rescue Revival.
Of course, like donating, that is always a big one. And not like hesitating on, oh, I can't give a lot. Even $1 is fine. Because even contributing that much brings just like traction to the mission, right? Also, a lot of times, like look into if your employer matches, $25 becomes 50. So that's a big one. But I think sharing our stories and like our campaigns, because they are innovative. If someone is involved in an organization somewhere, like their employee resource group at their employer, maybe a club at school or something along those lines, like a big thing is think of Rescue Revival if you want to give back, because we we just need that awareness, of course, but also we help other rescues, right? So like, the dollars are going to something intentional that's not just going to help the rescue at that time, but also down the line, right? Like we're on the Hill, we're advocating for spay-neuter programs and things like that. And if anyone's single in Nashville, we are doing an event, like a Datings for the Dogs event in June at Tailgate Brewery, which will be really fun
Yeah.
with puppies. So,
Oh, that's so
I know, I'm
fun.
excited about that. It's going to be really good. But really just sharing and thinking of us. If there's ever anything like you have to do a fundraiser for something, community service, whatnot, like think of us.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
where can people find you?
RescueRevival.org, of course. And then it's at Rescue Revival USA.
Well, thank you so much, Kimmy. This has been incredible. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
No, thank you so much. I am so ridiculously passionate about it, and probably to a point where like it's embarrassing. But like I was saying, I don't know if I said at the beginning of this or I said to Trump, but like to me it is very much do or die. Like this is what I'm meant to do. I will find any way to do it. And then especially the Nashville community, the rescue community is amazing. Like they've been so welcoming and helpful, and
Good.
I'm just looking forward to continuing to make a difference.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Doing Good podcast. If you enjoyed our conversation today, we invite you to subscribe or rate us on your favorite podcast platform. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, or YouTube at Doing Good TV. Doing Good is a 501c3 nonprofit. Please donate to support this podcast via the donate button on our website, doinggood.tv. And while you're there, nominate a volunteer you know for us to celebrate on a future episode. Together, let's celebrate those who are doing good.